Imagine never having to spend a single dollar on animal feed again. Sound impossible, right? Well, not if you've grown up the way we have. Out here, we don't rely on sacks from the store. We rely on the land, on tradition, and on what we can grow, trade, or reuse. See, feeding animals has quietly become one of the biggest burdens for small farmers and homesteaders. One bag at a time, it eats away your savings. But what if I told you there's a way to cut that cost down to zero without sacrificing your animal's health? It's not magic. It's not a new invention. In fact, it's a set of simple, time-tested practices passed down from our grandfathers and their grandfathers before them. We're talking about growing your own feed, using scraps the right way, even turning common weeds into powerful nutrition. And no, it's not hard. You don't need machines. You don't need money. You just need to understand how it's done. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how we fed cows, chickens, goats, and horses for free, year after year, without setting foot in a store. And maybe, just maybe, the next time you walk past that overpriced feed sack, you'll smile, knowing you don't need it anymore. The first and most important method Amish farmers use is growing their own feed. Whether it's hay, corn, or grains, they plant and harvest their own crops specifically for animal consumption. Instead of buying feed, they make use of their land to create a steady, cost-free supply year-round. And the best part? It's all done with hard work and care. No fancy technology, just tradition. Take Jonas, an Amish, for example. Every spring, he and his family plant fields of hay and corn specifically for the animals. The process is simple but effective. By late summer, the fields are full, and by the time winter comes, Jonas has enough feed to last the entire cold season. It's all about the rhythm of nature, planting, harvesting, and storing. He doesn't have to worry about feeding his animals in the winter months, nor does he have to spend a single dime at the feed store. And this isn't just a one-time thing. It's part of the Amish way of life, passed down through generations. It's all about preparation. By growing your own feed, you're not relying on the unpredictable fluctuations of store prices. Instead, you control the supply. And when the price of commercial feed is rising, you can smile knowing you've got everything under control. But that's just the start of what the Amish do. Amish farmers know that animals, especially cattle and goats, thrive when they can graze freely on grass. And the best part, they don't have to pay for that grass. Instead of keeping animals in small pens or barns, they give them access to large pastures where they can roam and graze. It's natural, it's healthy, and it's free. Jonas keeps his cows on wide-open pastures. In spring and summer, the cows are out there eating fresh grass all day. It's a system that's been working for generations. By rotating the grazing areas, the land stays healthy and productive, ensuring there's always enough feed for the animals. The animals get exactly what they need, no store-bought feed required. This simple method saves not only money, but also the labor of storing and managing feed. And it doesn't stop there. The Amish know how to get creative with their feed sources. Another genius method is using kitchen scraps. Yes, you heard that right, food scraps that would normally be thrown away. Amish families often save leftovers from their own meals, including vegetable peelings, bread, and more to feed their animals. It's a sustainable way to use everything you have, and it keeps food waste to a minimum. Jonas's chickens are some of the happiest around, partly because they get a variety of kitchen scraps. From vegetable peelings to leftover bread, it's a win-win. His chickens are fed, and nothing goes to waste. And this isn't just for chickens. Pigs, goats, and even cows can benefit from scraps, turning what could be waste into a valuable resource for the farm. It's all about reducing waste while keeping animals well fed. This method costs nothing, and it teaches the importance of not letting anything go to waste. In Amish communities, bartering is still alive and well. Farmers and homesteaders trade goods and services with each other, and this extends to animal feed. If one farmer has an abundance of hay but needs eggs, they'll trade. No money involved, just a fair exchange. Jonas has a neighbor who grows an abundance of grains, but she needs some fresh vegetables. Jonas will trade some of his produce in exchange for the grains that he uses for his cows and chickens. It's not just about getting what you need. It's about strengthening the bonds within the community and working together for mutual benefit. Bartering is an age-old practice that works wonders, not just for feeding animals, but for creating a sense of unity and support in the community. No cash, no complicated transactions, just simple exchanges. Have you ever done bartering? Share your experience in comments. Amish like Jonas grew up learning these from their grandparents, who fed their animals the same way. Every year, Jonas's grandfather would walk the farm, picking herbs, grasses, and wild plants that grew naturally in the fields. They'd dry them, store them carefully, and then feed them to the animals during the winter months. It wasn't just about saving money. It was about keeping the animals healthy and strong using what the land naturally provided. This way of life has been passed down through generations, and it's all about being self-sufficient, making sure that nothing goes to waste, and relying on the land for what you need. Let's go deeper into how Jonas makes this work for him. He's been feeding his animals for free for over a decade, and his system is incredibly efficient. But what's most interesting isn't just that it works, it's how different it is from what most people in the modern world do. Today, many people rely heavily on store-bought feed for their animals. It's convenient, sure, but it also comes with a cost, financially, and sometimes environmentally too. The feed is expensive, the packaging creates waste, and you're always dependent on suppliers. Meanwhile, Jonas and the Amish community have been living in a completely different way, where food for the animals isn't bought, it's grown, gathered, and repurposed. It's all about self-sufficiency and reducing reliance on external systems. One story Jonas often tells is about how he once went through a particularly harsh winter without ever buying a single bag of feed. This wasn't just a lucky coincidence. This is the result of years of preparation and planning. While most people would be scrambling to find store-bought feed, Jonas was out in the fields, collecting what the land naturally provided. He remembers the long winter months when snow covered the fields and the barns were stocked only with the hay he'd harvested in the summer. But it wasn't just the hay that kept the animals fed. Jonas had a small patch of herbs growing at the edge of his garden, a variety of plants that served as both feed and medicine for the animals. Throughout the year, he would add to his collection, gathering weeds, herbs, grasses, even dried vegetables, anything that could be used. During winter, he didn't just rely on the hay. He rotated the grazing fields, letting the animals feed on winter rye and cover crops that were still green under the snow. And this wasn't just a one-time thing. For Jonas, this way of life is second nature, passed down from his grandfather. It's about making sure that everything you grow, everything you gather works together to sustain your life and that of your animals. But now let's compare this to what most of us are doing today in the modern world. If you're in the city or even the suburbs, feeding your animals usually means trips to the feed store, buying bagged pellets or processed food for livestock. It's easy, but it's also expensive. Those costs add up quickly, especially when feed prices fluctuate or when you're dealing with large numbers of animals. In the modern world, many people don't have the space or the time to grow their own feed. Feed stores are convenient and readily available, but they also come with their own set of problems: purchasing costs, transportation, and let's not forget the environmental impact of all that packaging and transportation. While modern methods depend heavily on external suppliers and processed products, Jonas's method is completely self-sufficient. It's sustainable, cost-effective, and deeply connected to his surroundings. The Amish way doesn't rely on the next shipment or the next truckload of processed feed. It's all about using what's available on the land, what the land provides, what can be grown, and what can be collected. And with just a little knowledge, you can make it work for you year after year. Jonas isn't just feeding his animals leftovers, though. He knows exactly what each animal can eat. Chickens love the leftover grains from bread, pigs feast on vegetable scraps, and even cows can benefit from some of the garden leftovers. By using everything he has, Jonas reduces waste while also saving money. In fact, he estimates that nearly a third of his animals' feed comes directly from scraps, things he would have thrown away if he didn't know better. You won't believe how much feed Jonas gets from just leftovers. Imagine getting an entire year's worth of feed from the scraps you'd normally throw away. It's that simple. It's not just a way to save money, it's a way of life that makes you look at your resources differently. And this is the kind of sustainable living that the Amish practice every single day. It's not about complicated systems or fancy technology. It's about making the most of what's available, using what you already have, and never letting anything go to waste. Now, I know this all might sound like something only the Amish can pull off, but trust me, it's not that hard to start incorporating some of these methods into your own life. Whether you're living in the city or on a small farm, there are ways to start being more self-sufficient to reduce costs and to make use of what you have. So, what do you think? Have you ever tried growing your own animal feed or maybe using food scraps to help feed your livestock. It's a simple idea, but it can make such a big difference. I'd love to hear how you've made use of your own resources to feed your animals. Drop your thoughts, stories, or any tips you've got in the comments below. Sometimes the simplest ways are the most powerful. The Amish have been living this way for centuries, and it's not just about saving money. It's about making life more connected, more peaceful, and more sustainable. In today's fast-paced world, these old ways are a reminder that slowing down and using what we have can actually make life a whole lot easier.